Meteorologist Matthew East here with you in the Weather on the Ones Forecast Center. This is the Wednesday, January 27th edition of the Carolina Weather Video here. Had some software issues, so this is the second go-round at recording the video this morning. But all eyes, of course, on the potential for a significant winter storm across the region as we go into Friday and Saturday, and that's what the bulk of this video is going to focus on. First of all, today, a quiet day, some high clouds, highs upper 40s to low 50s. Tomorrow is still quiet here, and it'll actually be a relatively mild day with some highs well up into the 50s across the region, maybe some spots touching 60. At the same time, back in the southern plains, here's the beginnings of that next storm system. This is heavy snow in the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. South of that area, you're probably looking at a significant area of freezing rain breaking out in parts of Oklahoma into Arkansas. You go out to 7 a.m. Friday morning, and the snow is spread through much of the Ozarks, spreading into southern Illinois, Kentucky, and northern Tennessee. And south of that snow area, there's probably going to be a pretty good area of some freezing rain around the Tennessee Valley. And if you're new to the video, on this chart here, what we're looking at, that blue line, that southernmost blue line, that is the freezing line up at about 5,000 feet. And that is oftentimes a good starting point for figuring out the dividing line between snow and other types of precipitation. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it is a good starting point oftentimes. Now, here we go. Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock, and this is the 6Z run of the GFS, by the way. The precip begins to spread in. Probably dry in much of the region through early afternoon on Friday, but then as the afternoon unfolds, the precip spreads on in, and then it really gets heavy as we get into Friday evening, into the overnight hours Friday night here on the GFS, and then the system gradually pulls away. Now, notice that freezing line up at 5,000 feet I showed you, it sort of creeps northward here as that precip moves in on the GFS. I don't necessarily know that that is correct, but let me sort of show you a difference here. That's the GFS, and this right here is the surface temperature on the GFS. So even though the 850 or the 5,000 foot temperature is warm a bit, you keep surface temps at or below freezing. So if you lose the snow in the southern Piedmont, you're looking at probably freezing rain or sleet. And I just wanted to show you this for instance. The NAM does keep the temperatures aloft a little cooler, and that's indicating some very heavy snow from near and just west of Charlotte up into Greensboro, and points north and west from there. Now, I don't necessarily think the GFS is handling things correctly. This is a look at the European surface chart, 7 a.m. Saturday. Compare that to the GFS at the same time right there, and notice the European is farther west, it's slower with the system, and more consolidated with it. And the reason is this. Let's look up aloft. This is 500 millibars. GFS pretty strung out with all this 500 millibar energy, whereas the European is a lot more consolidated with it, a lot more bundled, and the Canadian generally agrees with the European, and probably that is correct. That's a typical bias of the GFS. It'll oftentimes string out and not really handle correctly the upper level energy. And that's probably what we're seeing occurring this time around as well. So with that said, this is what the NAM shows for snow accumulation through 1 o'clock, through 1 o'clock Saturday, I believe. Yeah, all right. Now this is what it's showing. And those blue shades, that's 4+ inches of snow. The purple shades, that's 8+ inches. You take these maps with a big grain of salt, by the way. And GFS, generally similar, showing a pretty significant snow event for parts of the region. And south of the snow area, there's probably going to be some freezing rain. So this is what the HPC, the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center, has for the snow probabilities for day 3. You see those snow areas outlined, and south of that, there's the freezing rain probabilities. That's the probability of a 1/4 inch of ice or more. So with all this said, here's my general idea. I'm not ready to put out amounts yet, but this is what I'm thinking generally in terms of precipitation types. The blue area, that's where you probably see mainly snow, although some sleet could mix in some of those southern areas of that blue area. And then between the blue and the red line, that's where you're looking at probably a wintry mix. Snow to begin in many spots, maybe kicking over to some sleet or freezing rain and possibly ending as snow again in those areas. Now, it would take a drastic shift to remove the winter weather from the region. So I think there's a pretty high probability that there's going to be a significant winter storm that affects the region. But the specifics of exactly who, what, where, and when, those are details I'm still working on, and we'll keep massaging that forecast for you. And one quick thing I wanted to point out, it's going to get very cold behind the system. We're looking for teens for lows on Sunday morning, probably with snow on the ground, some single digits for lows in parts of the North Carolina Piedmont by Monday morning. So it's going to get very cold after that system presses by. And by the way, the next system tries to roll in on Tuesday. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks for watching. Have a great Wednesday, and God bless.